What is going on, everybody, man? King Recon here. Before we get into anything else, it is almost November, which means it's that time of the year. If you have been here for a long time, you know what I'm about to say, man. And for those of you who have not been here for a long time, every single November, I go on either a hiatus or a semi-hiatus from the channel to participate in something that I participate in every single year. However, this year, man, even though it's going to be the craziest year of them all, I'm gonna have to go 0 dark 30, nose in the ground, grinding, going crazy. It's gonna be an amazing, marvelous time in NaNoWriMo this year. But even in the midst of all of that, even in the midst of going in there like swimwear, I can't take a hiatus this year. At the very least when it comes to this. When it comes to the manga and the anime adaptation of the best-selling manga in history. I can't leave it. I can't leave it for a whole month. For a whole month? I can't do it. I can't do it, especially with episode 1000 coming out next month. Even if I don't record anything else. But my weekends filled with what is nearly the best-selling comic of all time, I'm gonna be here by the flag nards. I am gonna be here to talk about the one, the only, One Piece. I'm gonna be here, man. I'm gonna be here, so no worries. Resume as scheduled, bro. No worries for anyone who only watches me or who watches mainly my One Piece content. I'm here. I am here on the weekends, man. Like I said, at the very least, even if it only can be reactions, believe me, I'm going to be here for the One Piece anime and manga because they've been going ham. And my afterthoughts, because I refuse to lose out on my consistency this year. That's what I promised to do at the beginning of the year. And I'm still mad that I missed out on the 1024 afterthoughts. Still mad. But I did every other one, man. And so, trying to keep that thing of consistency going and whatnot, right? But it's just this arc I've been enjoying so much in both the anime and the manga that I'm not going a month without it, man. So I'll be here. I will be here. Everything else, I don't know. And to be honest with you, I'm not even going to think about it. And not even going to think about that because I already have my mind preoccupied with other things. But when it comes to the best-selling manga in history, oh, you better believe that's top priority when it comes to experiencing something here on YouTube. Top priority, man. So I'll be here. No worries on that end. So let's go ahead and get right into the chapter. Chapter 1030. The impermanence of all things. The impermanence of all things. Interesting. And here we see Brook with a bunch of chimera ants. So it appears, just this week I was looking back and revisiting the interview with Togashi and Oda. And so in that spirit, I suppose, we have Brook talking here with Meruem, P2, Yuppie, and Poof, man. So we love to see it. Cover request by Ebi. Brook carefully sidesteps a file of army ants. And this is actually really cool considering I'm sure Brook doesn't weigh that much at all. So they could easily go over this man's foot. They could probably go over his entire body. Not feel his entire anything, right? Quote from the opening verse of the epic poem, Heike Monogatari. What does Heike mean? I know Monogatari means story, right? Gatari, I think, means story. Mono... Is it my story? I don't remember. But Heike Monogatari. So let's see here. And we start off the chapter. Are those the numbers? Are those the numbers? You're a Navy spy from what I can gather. A Navy spy, Drake? Yo, I was just talking to my boys, the Laz and Silva. We were having a conversation about the fact that it's been a really long time since we've seen certain characters in the arc. And one of those characters was Drake. This is wild. So Drake's in this chapter. You're a Navy spy from what I can gather. Iwato room. So now are we going to be wrapping up this fight? Is that what we're going to do this week? The X-Drake versus Apu fight? So Oda's real deal. Wrapping up all the battles leading up into the Monster Trio. Iwato room. We get to see Onigashima from the outside, but that's not important now. All I care about is whether you want to take down Kaido. No matter how this war ends, the winner isn't coming out unscathed, that's for sure. They'll be easy pickings. So Apu's like, it doesn't even matter, you know, to be honest with you, who wins and who doesn't win, because the third party that comes in at the end, whoever it ends up being, is going to be the true winner. I mean, it's going to be easy, considering how much damage is going to be done to every single person on this island. So he's like, yo, it's going to be pie. We just got to survive until that happens. So here we see these massive monsters, the numbers. Man. Yo, the numbers. Where's Frankie at, bro? So we can start one-shotting some more of these numbers. You know what I'm saying? This guy on the left, he's rocking the fake Usopp chin badger here. You know what I'm saying? And this one on the right is rocking this mustache like he's attempting to be Gold Roger. You can't be Gold D. You can't be Michael Jeffrey. Come on, man. And the guy in the middle is impersonating Luffy eating some meat. Like, who do you think you are? Cosplayers. How about it? We could team up, swoop in, and steal victory at the last moment. This man's out here trying to catch a free agent. I respect his hustle, you know what I mean? Like, I respect Apu's hustle to be out in the middle of the battlefield and still try to form a contract. And be like, hey, man, look, I ain't got the funds, but, you know, making this decision could be what keeps us in the playoffs or not. You know, it could be what keeps me, more importantly, in the playoffs. I'm sure he doesn't give a flying flatters about Drake. He just wants to ensure survival. He wants to ensure that he's the one that gets the most out of all of this. And Apu has been very impressive in this arc, especially in the anime. But, yo, Drake better tell this man to go see the Flagnards. You know, neither of us has a horse in this race after all. There's no point in us going at it. NB, Fuga, and Zanki. So that's their names. NB, Fuga, and Zanki. I'm probably not going to remember that in a couple pages, so. Be honest with you, I'm not going to remember those names. Those are very other. I'm speechless. You honestly think I trust you? Yo, Drake at this point, he's somebody who's developed trust issues within others. You think he himself doesn't have trust issues? That's not really how it works, man. Whenever you start developing trust issues in others, that means because you yourself have trust issues. So, this man's like, yo, listen to me. You think I'm really going to trust you? Of all people, when I'm the one who was out here triple agenting and what have you, trust got nothing to do with it. This arrangement would be mutually beneficial for us. So he's out here thinking about this from a business standpoint. I respect it. I really do. Opportunities like this only come around once in a lifetime. So yo, Apu is really Agent Apu. He's out here trying to get this man to sign in the dotted line like, yo, man, just sign the contract, baby, it'll be okay. It'll be okay, like I said. Let's just sit here, chill. Let's fake the fact that we're duking it out here. Let's just go about it, have some fun, and then when everybody else is going down, easy pickings. Easy pickings. And I do wonder if the thought is even going to go by Drake's mind in terms of, sure, if I go along with this as a pirate and joining up with them, I would still be able to fulfill my duties that I was set out to do here. But I do believe that due to chapter 990 and his conversation with Luffy, thinking back to Kobe, I do think that he's still going to go about this with Apu. I can't see it any other way. Drake, to me, seems like somebody who is way more loyal to the Marine side than he is to the pirate side for sure. So, especially as a member of SWORD. So he's going to make his own decision based on his morality and how and what he believes would be the right thing to do here. So maybe he does end up doing it again. You know, maybe he does end up joining up with Apu, quote unquote, and he double crosses him, pwns him, and then he starts doing stuff on his own. I just wonder what X Drake would do if he were to come across like CP0 trying to do something here. Like, I do wonder how he would feel about that as a member of SWORD, witnessing such a thing. You know what I mean? So I guess when the time comes, the time comes. But I do wonder how he's going to react to said scenario when and if that ends up happening. Stairs between the first and second floor. Here we see the Komachio. Hang in there, Komachio. Cough, cough. Hurry, the fire is spreading fast. Here we see Nami and Usopp Ultimate Tag Team here. Yeah! A yokai! Huh? What? A torsoless yokai! Somebody help me out! A torsoless yokai? The Punk Hazard thing? A torsoless yokai. Somebody help me poot. Somebody help me Poot? What? So yeah, there's a random leg on some punk hazard stuff walking through. So does that mean that Law bodied someone in an accident? Is that what we're seeing here? Like you know how Law's ability works and whatnot. Did Law accidentally body someone? Wait, Kinemon, is that you? Is that really him? So you get to see a little bit of the blood on top. I was like, no, there's no way it can be Kinemon. Especially in the fact that I don't know if Law's ability will be able to do this to him again. But we see the bottom half of his body. Wait, Kinemon, is that you? What the heck are you doing? Who goes there, Poot? This is Kinemon. I need to find my allies, Poot. I'm an ally. It's me, Usopp. So hold up. Stop. Okay, we gotta go in reverse. We gotta go in reverse. Okay, we gotta go in reverse. So, first and foremost, our suspicions were correct that Kinemon is still breathing oxygen. We remember back with the incredible panel there with Kaido stabbing him, and that was crazy. I mean, savagery at its finest. I was like, holy flagnards. But there definitely was a piece of us, when we had the conversation in the afterthoughts that week, where we were like, hold on. It doesn't feel like Kinemon's role has been fulfilled yet, especially in regards with his wife and whatnot. So I had a feeling he was already going to survive. But to reveal it like this, to do it in regards to this man's legs, running just like it did back in Punk Hazard, but now it literally doesn't make any sense to me. Because you get to see like a little bit of the blood going, no. What about if it's not Kinemon? What about if this is Chondrule trying to, because that ink looks like something that Chondrule is whenever he's not inside of that state. So what about if it's Chondrule? I'm an ally, it's me, Usopp. Whoa, you see his hands covered. You're bleeding like crazy, are you alright? He can't hear you, Usopp. This half of him doesn't have any ears. Right. Who is there? Answer me. What do we do? But that's definitely Kinemon's pants. So now I'm perplexed. Now I'm extremely perplexed because as far as I'm concerned, the only one who could realistically do something like this is Law. But I don't know if Law did this. Unless the effects of the Opi no Mi from all the way back then still last now, even so to the fact that when Kaido, potentially might have cut him in half right there, that it didn't kill him because of the effects of the Opi no Mi, but I can't really, I don't know if the effects would last that long, you know what I'm saying? And besides that, this just seems very, very strange. It feels like this is Chondrule. Because yes, even whenever we see the blood coming off Usopp's hands, this could easily be some sort of ink, knowing the actor that Chondrule is. Because if either way, if one of them is breathing oxygen, the other one's breathing oxygen. That's the way I see it. Right? If Kinemon's breathing oxygen, I'm sure Chondrule is too. So, wait, how's this? And he just starts laughing. Oh, that was the crescent mark of the rebellion, Poot. So I finally found one of you. I have an urgent request, Poot. Usopp? So he has an urgent request. He's still pooting. He's still pooting with Tama and Speed here. Usopp hears something we don't get to hear, and we'll get to bang. So we don't get to hear. We just get to see the aftermath. I'll go with Hamlet. You guys stay with Tama. Man, you just can't get enough of me. I'm in your debt. You truly are a friend, Poot. So now Usopp is heading off with Kinemon's legs. There's a passage on the first floor that leads to the attic of the left tower. There's a passage on the first floor that leads to the attic of the left tower. She is barely clinging on to life. Please save her, I implore you. She is barely clinging on to life. Kiku? Yes, it most certainly is. Oh, so here we get to see the three. Kiku, Kinemon. I'm sure one of them is Chondrule. Bear with it a little longer, Kiku. Help is on the way. I still can't believe it has survived being severed in two. I suppose Laudono did not completely reattach my body before. I knew it! I had a feeling! Because I was like, yo, that's literally the only way that I can see this even being plausible again. Because it really did remind me of Punk Hazard. What a miracle. Now please let Kiku be spared. So, Chondrule at this point, not Chondrule, Kinemon at this point looks like he's almost gone. I mean, he legit looks like my man's... The only reason he even survived that in the first place is because of this reattachment process with Law. Hey, answer me, Chondrule. Is that Orochi's voice? But he was beheaded. He seems unaware of Chondrule's demise. So, let's roll this back a sec, because I'm currently studying a lot of theater. I'm studying the differences in theaters in both Eastern and Western culture. And I've been learning a lot about the different styles in which certain countries or certain styles of theater that are very prevalent in certain parts of the country. In Japan, and this is for anyone with knowledge of this type of thing or with research or whatever, in Japan, is there some sort of thing connected to kabuki theater or theater in Japan from ancient times, possibly, that just had something to do with characters that just will not die? Is that a thing? Because it feels like that's a common thing in Onigashima. Orochi's still alive. Kinemon's still alive. Kiku's about to still be alive after Usopp gets here. And Chondrule, I'm sure, if the other one survived, Chondrule is alive too. Has there ever been a play or a story told in an older part of Japanese history that has it to where the characters constantly survive these unsurvivable situations and then they potentially die at the very end? Because I feel like that's exactly what we're going through here. That all of these characters that continue to escape death are going to end up dying at the very end. It really feels that way. And the reason why it feels that way is because with all these fake outs, there needs to be a payoff to those fake outs. You know what I'm saying? If not, a lot of this stuff's going to feel cheap. So I really wonder if Oda's currently taking inspiration from a certain part of Japanese, from a Japanese play or some sort of kabuki theater, like a trope or something that has this thing of escaping death or barely escaping death or not being able to escape your fate, right? Like, you can escape it now, but will you be able to escape it later? That type of thing. I'm really curious on whether Oda's going this route, and that's why now I'm going to most certainly do even more research in regards to this, to what I'm currently studying, which is that, to see if there is a part in the Eastern, even if it's not directly from Japan, but something in the past that has had this, because it is a very prevalent theme throughout this arc. Now that I see this, now that I see that Kinemon is still alive, now that I see that he was able to still be alive due to something that happened in the past with Law, now I'm really, really curious as to where Oda's getting his inspiration for this from, because it has to be some sort of connection to some sort of kabuki play. I'm going to assume that has to be the case. Because like I said, in every single different culture, it is exclusive to that. Not really exclusive, but there are things that they would understand. There are things that the Japanese would understand and get as like a trope for them that we wouldn't understand unless we consumed a lot of that media. You know what I'm saying? So I do wonder if this is just one of those things, because it is a very, very prevalent thing within this arc. Either that, or it's just as simple as that it is a prevalent theme within this arc that, you know, of escaping death, even at the very, very, you know, close parts of being dead. Like, even as you're being killed, you somehow find a way to escape death. But I'm very curious. I'm extremely curious, because it feels like the only individuals who have actually truly died here are Yasue and Odin, and those are two individuals who were executed publicly. So I'm very interested on Oda's creative process in regards to this entire situation. So Usopp is coming for Kiku, and I'm going to assume at the same time that he's going to come for Kinemon. And I do wonder if Kinemon in his last breath is going to tell him to save Chondrule as well, because that's most certainly something I can see happening. But I'm very curious. Very, very curious. He seems unaware of Chondrule's demise. So Orochi's still alive, obviously. Something we've been known. I am here, Orochi-sama. So Chondrule is still breathing oxygen. Okay, so there's the confirmation. I am here, Orochi-sama. Sounds like you're at the brink, Chondrule. Yes, the finale. I see. I have nothing but praise. Your performance was masterful. That is flattering to hear. Can you hear it, the cheers you've earned for me? Indeed, unfortunately, the bitterness and resentment rippling through me means I cannot have fully appreciated it. Our ancestors remain unsatisfied. Give them a stupendous encore, Chondrule. Use your painting to depict the burning wrath of the Kurozumi clan. Who cares who wins? Let them all be consumed by Kurozumi clan by the Kurozumi clan's vengeance. Cast all the stragglers in the castle into the abyss of hell. Drag them as low as our brethren trapped in their graves. What a line. Free their souls, Chondrule. Free us in a final blaze of glory. So Orochi's sitting here thinking, if we're all gonna die anyway, if we're not gonna be able to survive this, then go ahead and just avenge the clan now. Avenge it now. Put everything on fire now. Screw it. If nothing else can be done, do this. So what I find interesting here from both parties is the dedication. And perhaps that is exactly what is keeping them alive in this situation. Is Kinemon's, look, in Kinemon, it was just pure luck in regards to the reattachment process with Law, I'm going to assume. But in regards to Kinemon and Odin, it has to be a situation to where Kinemon's, undying loyalty to Odin, as well as now Chondrule's undying loyalty to Orochi and the Kurozumi, are the things that are still having them here breathing. Because it's like flagnards. But we're seeing it from both sides, which means it's consistent. You know what I mean? Because we saw it with Orochi, and we've seen it on both sides, like with Orochi and Chondrule and with Kiku and Kinemon. So it's like it's a prevalent theme, which is why I really want to know where it comes from. Because this arc is heavily inspired by what in the flagnards is that? As you wish. Please enjoy my final show. The suicide pact of the Kurozumi clan. Does this connect to chapter 795? I'm not talking about from a storytelling, from a theme, strictly from a theme standpoint. The pact. Kazenbo. And everything is on fire. He's turning into like a giant of sorts. His final show. Don't touch it, it'll be roasted. What is this monster? Emergency reports coming in. A gigantic, unidentified specter has appeared on the second floor. A specter. And here we see Momonosuke. All I can do is make as many tiny flame clouds as I can. It's going right through the walls. It's like some kind of ghost. The castle is being choked by flames. And here we're going to see the people of Wano. Let's get out of here. There's no time to fight. So the flames are... CP0. Ooh, snap. They're on the move. Let's go. Y'all know what this means. Y'all know what this means. Kurohashi, the burgundy and black. He's coming to intercept, bro. Come on. It's clear as day now, dog. It's clear as day. These two are about to come in. They're going to run into Robin and Brooke. And Sanji's going to be like, what y'all doing? What y'all doing? Sweet chin music's for days. Sweet chin music's for days. Marco, Izo, Kawamatsu, Luffy and Kaido? Go-foo-foo. Oh, so here we see Sanji versus Queen, the Kozuki forces, and the Emperor. So here we see the King. He's got a nasty stance. The King, Kaido, Zoro versus King will be undone by their own hubris. So Go-foo-foo, the Kozuki forces, and the Emperors will be undone by their own hubris. And so Orochi's sitting back like, yo, I'm chilling. I'm all good here, baby. I know all about it, Kaido. Your massive armory in the basement, I stocked with weapons I provided. Light it all up, Chondrule. Blow them to smithereens. Oh, so now Chondrule is going to be the one to attempt to... So that's what this plot point was leading towards. All right. So the plot point that was introduced with a massive armory and the bombs was to get Chondrule back in order for one final, the constant bow here, which is going to be stopped by Yamato. Right, because that's exactly what Yamato's trying to do. Or Chondrule is going to attempt and think that he's got this thing in his mind, and whenever he believes that, oh, here we go, plans have gone all according to, this is the success part, I'm about to blow everything up, when he realizes there is no bombs, because Yamato's already taken care of them, or something along those lines. So that's where that plot point is headed. So that's very interesting. It's going to be Chondrule and Yamato. So Yamato carrying, of course, the will of the Scabbards, carrying the will of Odin, is going to be the one to put the finishing blow on Chondrule. If she even is the one to put the finishing blow, that is very interesting. Because that is so true, though. Like just think about it. Yamato has no personal connection to any of the Scabbards. But in the same way that I'm personally connected to these characters here, Yamato is connected to them as characters within Odin's story, within Odin's logbook. And so, what better person to attempt to reach Chondrule's heart, to attempt to reach an answer within Chondrule, than to somebody who's been a spectator this entire time, who witnessed their journey through words and through text. So, now I'm really curious as to what Yamato's going to have a conversation with Chondrule. If that even happens, I'm going to assume it has to happen, because why else would we be getting to that point, right? But here we see Orochi. Young master, where are you going? And here we get to see Yamato going above all the floors. At the armory at the very bottom of the castle. I'm not sure I'll make it in time, Momonosuke-kun. You've got to slow the island down, even if I just a little bit. So it's all the way at the bottom. Huh? Big Mom? And Kid, the medal! The medal! Yo, Ikaku Sovereignty, and all you see is Kid's medal. Don't tell me Kid is gone. Ikaku Sovereignty. Good Lord! Send a full Kamehameha beam out that thing. Yamato's looking up. I'm looking up too. Look at Big Mom, bro. Mama, let's start with you and Big Mom riding on top of Prometheus with Napoleon in hand, electricity coming out of her thing. Holy fuck. Let's start with you, Kid. Oh my goodness. Hey, Trafalgar, can you awaken your ability? Awaken? I'm not used to it yet. I'd only use it if I were near death. It burns too much energy to use in a real battle. Awakening? We're about to do some awakenings? Mine's the same, but we're not getting anywhere like this. Kid too? Awaken. Hold up. Whoa. Trafalgar, can you awaken your ability? So Kid is getting slapped around by Big Mom. But before this happened, he had a conversation with Law in terms of awakening their abilities. So we're going to see it. Now that it's brought up in conversation, we're going to see it. So awakening their abilities. Kid states that his is the same. So they've attempted awakening before. They have attempted awakening. So Kid has attempted, Law has attempted, which tells me Luffy might as well awaken too here. Right? So let's just say we do get that. But Luffy aside, Kid and Law awakening, it takes up too much energy, is what the two of them say. Mine's the same, but we're not getting anywhere like this. You need to back me up and play that ace. And there's Law. Kroom. Kroom? Is that a mistranslation, or is that or is that like his awakening? Kroom. So it's not room, it's Kroom. I don't know, son. All I know is I'm seeing Law with the room and he's looking fine. So he's on top. Anesthesia. And he covers his blade. He's jumping towards Big Mom. His blade is covered in some sort of thing. And he pierces through Big Mom's throat. That incision is harmless, but Kroom emphasizes Kroom. So Kroom is something new. Kroom. Anesthesia. So Kroom is the very act of opening, or not necessarily opening, but creating this new thing within the blade. Comes down with the Kroom. Goes in and gets Big Mom right in the throat. That incision is harmless, but Kroom influences your body in other ways. So here we got a dope spread. Shock wave. Shock wave. So this is like counter shock, but just to the Wagner. Super Saiyan 2. Shock wave. Big Mom even lets go of Napoleon. Mama, Mama's bleeding. What did damage? Lost too raw. You little brat. You could use more magnetism. A sign. I'm stuck to you, Mama. What the? It's like I've become a magnet. So now this is Kid's awakening? Our weapons are being drawn in. Punk crash. And he goes right down and brings Big Mom down to the flag guards. No way. We're seeing both of their awakenings. So a sign. And so in Kid's case, it's like, so all the weapons of everyone around them is of course coming towards him. So he has this magneto effect happening. But it's like true, like absorption of all types of metal around, because as you see, the stuff around them is crashing down. Unless punk crash literally means that he's bringing something down with so much force, like Fujitora's ability, to where the gravitational force will just pone anything down below them. But what I'm going to assume is that all these infrastructures were destroyed by A, the weight of Big Mom coming down, especially with the force, but number two, potentially the metals within these infrastructures were pulled towards Kid. Man! That was the end of the chapter? Are you serious? Man. Now we finally get to see Awakening, bro! Ah, flag nards, man. Dang, dude. Okay. Hold on. I gotta process this. So there's three major portions of this chapter, right? There's the Apu and Drake stuff, the question of whether Drake is going to end up, joining up with Apu and whatnot, which is most certainly not going to happen. Not at all. So, but I'm looking forward, to seeing Drake's internal conflict in terms of how he makes that decision. That's going to be interesting. But now we get to this part. So Nami and Usopp run into Kinemon's legs. And this takes us over to what is currently happening with Kinemon, Kiku, and Chondrule. And this is by far, to me, the most fascinating part in terms of what Oda is trying to do here. Because the thing is with fake out deaths is that fake out deaths lessen the impact of anything, right? Which is why, and I'm sure Oda understands that too, right? Especially after having to deal with the criticism of individuals like Pell for so many years. And I know that he's done this consistently throughout the series, even just most recent example being Pound. But in this arc in particular, that has been a very prevalent thing, especially in Onigashima, of making it feel like one of these characters, especially these four, in Chondrule, Orochi, Kiku, and Kinemon, they always seem to be at death's door. And yet, something happens that prevents them from completely going there. So I do wonder if this has to do something with a part of Kabuki theater. I want to know the thought process behind it, because it's just very, very strange to me. It is extremely strange. And to be quite honest with you, it is something that I want to see the payoff to, because I want to know what his thought process is, first and foremost above all things. Because it doesn't make any sense to me why you would go about it in this type of way. Especially with somebody like Oda, who puts so much attention to detail in certain parts. And when it comes to payoff is important because of the things leading up to it. If this is all going to lead up to the four of these individuals dying anyway, then what in the world does he have in mind to have that happen? You know what I mean? Like what's going to happen at the end of the arc that is going to showcase that? Because it feels like we're going down that route. You would not give these characters this amount of fake out deaths unless they were all going to end up dying at the end anyway. So I'm curious on why it is he's doing it in this manner. I really, really am. It's just very, very strange to me. The Chondrule plotline, I actually find to be that I can understand way more in terms of what is going to happen with him. Because so my thought process with Chondrule here, out of all of them, like at least when it comes to Orochi, like I said, I've always seen Hiyori being the one to take him out, or Zoro, whatever it ends up being. Hiyori, Momonosuke, Zoro, right? One of them is going to end up killing Orochi. Or taking him out, whatever. When it comes to Kinemon, I always felt like even in that moment, he wasn't necessarily dead. and he was probably going to have at the very least one final moment with his wife, or one final moment with the rest of the Scabbards, whatever the case may be, attempting to do something. Like, I had that feeling ever since that chapter. So now we're seeing that here. And with Kiku, I'm not entirely sure what's going to happen there with her. But in regards to Chondrule, his is the one that makes the most sense to me. Because like I said, if Yamato does end up making it over to Chondrule, which it looks like this is what is going to happen, Chondrule is going to be making his way downward towards Chondrule. So now we've added another time element. This flaming monster, this unknown scepter, is moving throughout the castle of Onigashima. It's going to be heading right down towards the bottom. So now Yamato is going to be the one that's going to have to talk either some sense with her hands, or to directly talk to Chondrule, because she's not going to know anything about what's happened here, right? To her, Chondrule is still one of the Scabbards. And so, of these Scabbards being individuals that she looks up to, I do wonder how that conversation is going to go with Yamato and Chondrule. Because it looks like Yamato might be the one that ends up saving Chondrule in the very end, even if she has no direct correlation to, or not, she, of course she has a correlation, but no direct, thing within the Scabbards themselves. But because of her admiration and love for the Scabbards, Chondrule might see that and be like, man, like, that might be the turning point for Chondrule before he dies. But as he's about to die, maybe in his heart, he's like, man, I should have never done what I did. Like, maybe it wasn't all an act at all. Like, maybe I truly did end up caring for these individuals. Kinemon was my best friend. Those types of things. I do wonder if that's the route that we're heading down towards. So, and it would be excellent. It most certainly would be excellent if executed properly. So I'm looking forward to that. These next couple panels right here made it feel like we're about to go on a break, right? I mean, you just have everything building up here, but CP0 is officially on the move. You see the flames behind them, so they are moving. They are moving, they are coming, and I cannot wait to see what happens in that regard with Robin, Brooke, and I'm going to assume Sanji is heading there too. So cannot wait for some more of that. We got to see some of the other characters too. The Monster Trio's battles. But then we get to the awakening, bro. Now, I was not expecting this in the slightest, man. I'm not gonna lie. This was the part, even more than anything else in this chapter, in regards to, what already took place up until this point. This was by far the one thing that blew me away the most. Ikaku Sovereignty. We see Kid falling off. Now, when I saw Kid falling off, I was like, don't tell me this man just took an L. Especially after last week. But no, it was all a part of the plan, bro. This man Law goes in being raw. Kroom. So Kroom in particular influences your bodies in other ways. The incision is harmless, but Kroom allows it to where it influences the entire body. So much so that it did internal damage to Big Mom. Big Mom. So it's like, yo, Law and Kid, you heard what they said earlier, right? In regards to only being able to use certain things near death, or because of it takes up too much energy. So now they've both awakened. So Big Mom is not going to be going up against awakened Law and awakened Kid, dude. Oh, man. So we finally have seen Awakening. I've been wondering when was the next time we're going to see an Awakened power. You know what I mean? Especially within this arc. Because when it was built up with Doflamingo, I was like, man, this is going to be something prevalent within Onigashima, we didn't know what Onigashima was, but within Wano. It just felt like that was going to be a payoff. And instead, Wano focused more on hockey, focused more on the real hockey, observation hockey, Conqueror's hockey, and everything to do with that, Conqueror's coding. So I was wondering if we were going to get any type of awakening coming out of this arc, and here we got it. Here we got it, man. 2 in 1 chapter. We got Laws, and then we got Kid absorb. Everyone, they don't even stand a chance. I mean, their metals are being completely absorbed to his body, so much so that he's crashing the very infrastructures around him, dude, as they throw Big Mom onto the ground. So now I do wonder, because I did not think, I'm going to be honest with y'all, after last week's chapter, I did not think we were going to go back to Big Mom and Law and Kid until the end of the arc. 100%. I really thought that was what we were about to head towards. I thought we were going to see the continuation of that when we saw the continuation of Luffy versus Kaido. So, the fact that we're seeing this now, already I'm starting to see the tides turning. So, to put this in perspective in my mind, right? To put this together in my mind, it looks like right now, So Momonosuke. So the plot lines right now. Usopp is heading towards the injured 3. Chondrule, or injured 2 technically. Chondrule is heading down towards Yamato. Down where the bombs are. Momonosuke is holding up the island. Luffy and Kaido on the roof. Zoro and King are outside. Sanji is currently heading off. I'm sure his battle with Queen is going to take them over towards Robin and Brook with CP0. Fukurokuju and Raizo. You still have X-Drake and Apu. The numbers are looking at them. I'm just trying to piece together everything in my mind to see exactly where everybody's at and how things can culminate at a certain point. Wow. So this chapter filled with questionable decisions because I have no idea what in the flying flagnards Oda has in mind for this entire Scabbard's plotline in regards to Kinemon and Kiku. I think I have a good idea of where it's going with Chondrule, which would be fantastic. But and then here with Drake and Apu, most certainly this is just a fake out here. There's no way in the Flagnards X-Drake would team up with Apu, at least willingly, or not willingly, but actually meaning it. Like he'll probably end up double crossing if he ends up doing it, but just very interesting stuff. And then, but then this awakening, this was the last. Like I said, I did not expect to see awakening within this arc at this point, right? We're already so late within it, but to see it now, let's go. And to see what Laws can do. So Law, the crew, Big Mom clear, I mean the shockwave, just look at that. It looks beastie, dude. Straight beastie. Big Mom hitting the ground, I mean she can't even take all that damage. She turns around, and while she's turning around, this man kid goes up intellect swimwear, dude. Napoleon sticks to Big Mom like a magnet. So now it appears with a sign. Kid can not just bring things over to himself, he can bring things to someone else. So that's why Big Mom, the infrastructures and all the weapons were going over to Big Mom. Because now like I'm going to assume with this awakening, you can assign that over to somebody else, so we're just not, it doesn't just go to him. That's dangerous. That's extremely dangerous, man. Because just imagine, being in a place like this where there is so much metal around, and you put that over to somebody else. For you love that. But for somebody else, constantly being smacked upside the head, rubble falling on top of them, like, man, that's actually really, really dope. Being able to assign that to others. So now that my big question coming out of this particular portion is, does this mean we're going to see Luffy's awakening? Because if we're seeing it from Kid and Law, and they're 2-on-1, what about the man who's 1v1ing on the roof? You know what I mean? Like, does this mean we're about to see Luffy's awakening? Regardless, interesting chapter of One Piece this week. Extremely hype right here at the end. Questionable decisions that I can't wait to see the payoff to. And I definitely can't wait to see when Sanji ends up meeting with CP0 here now that we see that they are definitely out of there. I'll see y'all next time. Have an awesome day, man. Let me know what y'all thought about this week's chapter in the comments down below. And like I said, I will be back. Even in November, I will still be doing chapter videos. So look forward to that. But until next time, man, y'all have an awesome day. Take care. One Piece greatness. Punk Crash, man. And Kroom. Sweet Flagnards, man. Have a good one, y'all.